welcome back to episode 44 of Eden's Realm. So at the end of last episode, we talked a little bit about my plans for this episode. Building the ice farm is the first on those lists, and I have done a bit of working to get blocks ready so that we can go ahead and build it. I've got a whole lot of blocks ready here, as you can see. And we're actually planning to build a full-on collection system, so that means that I'm going to need to build a lot of my one-wide tileable hopper minecart destroyers down below a layer of blocks. I think we're going to use smooth stone. We'll see how it looks. So we're going to use that so that it can all get collected in a chest, and I don't have to collect it all myself. And that means we're going to have to do a lot of touchy redstone and fiddling with the storage system, but I think it's going to go well. So let's hop on over to the snowy biome over near our mob farm, or our creeper farm, I suppose, and get started. And so in the snowy biome, we are just a little bit away from our creeper farm that is over there. And I went ahead and flattened out a massive area of this so that we could build our ice farm here. It's got a pretty large footprint. It's really long, and basically it's just run by similar flying machines as to our one that we built early on in this season of Eden's Realm, but it's, as I say, really, really long, and also it's pretty wide now because there's two sections that are 5 wide. So this platform here was actually a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I was doing some math, and it turns out that it's actually, this platform here is roughly 2,700 blocks in total, which means that I would need 2,700 rails to cover it all. And I don't think I'm going to do that, because that's over a stack and a half of, or no, over a shulker box and a half of rails, which, I mean, I have it, but it just does not seem like the smart thing to do. So I'm going to have to work on a different design, probably something with water to push them all into the middle. I have some ideas, but I'm going to get started building on this, and we can talk about those ideas later. Alrighty, so as you can see, it is basically all built up. I have started doing all the double checking, and the flying machines seem to be working perfectly. The snow isn't really hindering them at all. The timing of the daylight sensors seems to be just about right. I don't think I'm going to have to tweak that at all, but I've been having a lot of issues with these right here. They tend to break, and I'm not sure why. So I'm going to place a redstone torch here, which will power this system, and I've marked out the ones that broke last time with these redstone torches. And I want to find out if it's the same ones, or if it's just happening randomly. So you can see it's powered, and yep, it broke again. I'm really concerned that this is going to be one of the issues with redstone powering first, because what is happening, I think, if I find one over here, what I think is happening is this piston is getting powered before this piston. Yeah. Or, no. This piston is getting powered before this piston can, even though this is a not solid block. So it has to be an issue with that, because, yeah, the ones that I've marked are breaking every single time. It's not just a random occurrence. And the sad thing is, I had double checked it all in my creative world, but my assumption is that if I rotate it in my creative world, which I had to in this world, in Eden's realm, if I rotate it 90 degrees, I will get that issue in my creative world, because I didn't think to check that. That's going to be really annoying. I will have to come up with a workaround. So, a little bit of good news and bad news. If we check all of these, it all seems to be working just fine. So these three are just fine. You can see they all get pulled back in the correct orientation, but then I tried it in 180 degrees from that position, and these two break consistently. This one here in the middle doesn't, of course, but these two do. So it is an issue with the redstone bud powering this piston before this piston gets powered. It's one of those niche cases where that redstone bud powering comes into play. I think, though, that if I place a solid block here, that this might work. Okay, let's try it again. So those get powered at the right time. That gets pushed out. Oh, I see. So this block, this piston here is now actually getting bud powered by this block, because, and so it stays down longer and it doesn't pull it back up. Okay, that at least makes sense. So it won't be a super easy workaround. I'm gonna take a little bit to think on this, and I'll see what I come up with. And the solution was staring me right in the face. All I have to do is move the pulse extender over one block, and then obviously it doesn't power this block, and it works perfectly. I tried it in all of the orientations to make sure that like this isn't bud powering or anything, and seems to be working. So it does mean I have a little bit more work to do on the farm, but I at least know what the issue is. And also, if you haven't seen the new world edit, it gives you a preview of what you copy, which is pretty nice, but also it just means I have to add more buttons to my keyboard to mess with it. Who knows? I'm gonna go and fix all of this on Eden's Realm, and then we will be back, and the farm should be running by then. And it is now completely working. So I will show you basically. I'm going to power it with this. Normally it only gets powered whenever this flying machine returns, but I can escape that. You can see it gets powered and off it goes. Now, the frosted ice here is obviously melting because the sun is out, but we can see it go all the way around. It's pretty cool. And so basically what this will do is once it turns night, this will all get activated and it will start sending this around, and then throughout the 10 minutes of night the ice will form in these two sections here, which gives us our cedar blocks, and then the sun will come out and we'll get the frosted ice to melt, and then the ice will end up spreading over all 5 blocks of depth here, and it'll look something about like this. And then eventually, after another 30 minutes, this will get sent off and it will push all of the ice down. Now, it won't look pretty here because we're not going to have the full 30 minutes. I think we are on, yeah. So I think tonight, whenever this daylight sensor changes, this will get powered, which will power this, and it'll get sent on its way. So we can stick around and wait for the ice harvest, basically. But you can see there, I've got my boots. These have Frostwalker on them. I think it's this. Oh, I can't show you what it is, but those boots have Frostwalker on them. And yeah, I did diamond because I had some diamond left over at the old base whenever I went to get the enchantments, and so I just grabbed the diamond boots. But you can see here, eventually we're going to have ice coming all the way down. It'll stack to right at this height, so I can walk underneath it and mine it. I also need to set up a row of slabs around here so that I can mine the next layer of ice. I can mine everything except the bottom layer here, which is exactly what we want. So now is basically just left up to the collection system, and that's going to be pretty straightforward. I've started down here. You can see I've got some torches and repeaters, so you can kind of guess what we're going to do. I'm going to have these trapdoors here powered, and then eventually they'll get unpowered and wash everything to the side. Obviously, I'll need to fill in the holes so that the water actually moves correctly. But I'm super happy with it. It should work out pretty well. So I played a little bit of Counter-Strike and made myself some food, and then I did about a half a harvest on all of the ice here, and I used up basically all of my pickaxe to harvest everything in the top area, picked it all up and put it into here, and you can see we get about a stack, get about 2 stacks of blue ice per harvest, which is about what I figured. It's not a lot, but it's at least some. I'm hoping that we can get close to 3 by the end of today. We shall see. I need to do another harvest, but I need to find a way to repair my pickaxe. So I'm going to have to go back to the old base, and I'm going to trade for some enchanted XP bottles. And then we're going to set up a little station over here somewhere where we can just come and press a button and repair our pickaxe. Alrighty, so we've gotten a lot of the ice cut down, and now we get a chance to try out our system here. So just a nice and easy system. It should restore us from this to about 1800 or so. Don't know exactly, but go like that, and here comes the XP. Alright, well, looks like I was actually just about right. It got us all the way up to full efficiency, and now we get a chance to try out our collection system. It's not very sophisticated. I haven't put in a button or anything, but we just power this, and everything gets washed over to the side. We can unpower it, and then walk along and collect it all up. Not super helpful yet, but once I have a button and some hopper minecarts and all kinds of stuff set up, it should be a whole lot easier. And in total, at the end of 1.5 harvests, we only got 3 stacks and 19 of blue ice. Ah, this stuff is a pain to get. But I'm happy with what we've accomplished today here. Don't really want to work on it anymore. I need to set up this side of the collection system, and we'll have to make some changes here so it doesn't wash all this away. But I think I'm happy with it for now. Don't really want to mess around with anything more here today. Kind of done with ice. Let's go someplace warm where it's not snowing. So not only did I decide to go to someplace warm, I went to the hottest place there is, the nether. I've been building out tunnels for our ice boats for quite a while now. Our old tunnel stopped right about over here, and I've continued it on down this way. And then we have an ice path that goes to, this is where the original spawn area was, and then continues on down this way. I think that goes to the skeleton farm, and then here are our spawn portals. That's for the wardens, I think, and this one is where the villagers used to be. Don't know where that goes, but I moved it up from down here somewhere to over there. And I need to set up a tunnel that goes over to this way so that we can get our in portal, gunpowder farm, and ice farm all linked up. I haven't done that yet, but I am also out of blue ice. So I decided to make the switch to blue ice instead of packed ice, which takes quite a bit more resources, but you go about 20 blocks per second faster on it, so it should be nice. But I want to put up some hanging signs here and just kind of show like where everything is. So I'll have arrows pointing certain directions and stuff. But I need to go and get some signs and all kinds of stuff to do that. But we're getting there. Finally taking the time to do the infrastructure. Wanted to put soul sand under this, but I forgot. So that may be a side project later. But I need to find out where all these portals lead and link them all up. So I've gotten the signs, and I went for a green with the warped sign, or the crimson sign, and I think it looks good. But I want your opinion. Does that look better? So the sign as it looks now, or if I walk forward, does that look better? I don't really like it with the dark green outline. I think it's difficult to read with that, and I'm considering trying to find a texture pack that removes it. I'm gonna have to think on it, but I don't know. I don't really, not a fan of the dark green outline, and I think it does it with everything whenever you words. Whenever you do it with glow ink, it gives it that outline, which I am not a huge fan of. So I'm considering trying to find a texture pack that removes it, or possibly creating one myself. We still don't have the ice road that goes all the way down. I am out of blue ice, and it'll just have to be a project for another day. We have to cut through all this, and it's going to be kind of a pain. But once we get over here, it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, I don't know. I have difficulty reading it whenever you get that outline, but we'll have to figure it out at some later date because I am behind on this episode. It is supposed to be coming out tomorrow, and yeah, it needs to be edited and uploaded to YouTube, which shouldn't be too difficult to do now. But that is where I'm gonna have to call it today. I've had a busy week, lots of stuff going on in real life, and it's all been good stuff, but it just means that this is a little bit of a shorter episode. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care, have a good day. Bye-bye.